station. On 8 News Now, a man accused of murdering his 19-year-old ex-girlfriend faces a judge. We'll tell you what happened in court this morning. Another man learns his sentence for a drunk driving crash that killed a UNLV student, Garrett Merriweather. And a night to remember for the Las Vegas Aces. Did you see the buzzer beater? We'll show it to you again in their WNBA playoff victory.
Now, live, this is 8 News Now at noon.
Thank you for joining us at noon. I'm John Langler, and we start in a crowded North Las Vegas courtroom for the case of Giovanni Ruiz. He's accused of murdering his 19-year-old ex-girlfriend. Paula Davis is her name. Her body was found by her father this morning. He was in court as Ruiz stood before a judge for the first time. Bianca Holman joining us live here in the studio with details on what happened. Bianca?
Hi, good afternoon, John. The hearing, it was brief. His lawyers presented 2 motions and dates were set for a future hearing and status check. For those that are unfamiliar with the case, here's a brief background. Davis, a 19-year-old UNLV student, was found shot in a van parked at Desert Horizons Park in North Las Vegas, a short distance from her home. Police arrested this man here, 21-year-old Giovanni Ruiz. He is charged with murder with a deadly weapon. According to the police report, a handgun was found at Ruiz's home. Sean Davis, Paula Davis's father, was also in the courtroom this morning. He tells us what it was like to see the man accused of taking his daughter's life.
It's very complicated, painful, and you know, it just raises so many questions, but seeing him in person again, it's complicated. It's hard.
He also shared that he and his family opened their home up to Ruiz. Ruiz had participated in family activities. Davis also said that he plans to be at all the court hearings because he wants justice for his daughter. Ruiz is expected to be back in court next Tuesday. Bianca Holman, 8 News Now.
Bianca, thank you. A 19-year-old was sentenced this morning for a drunk driving crash that killed an 18-year-old boy. Alexander Brewer was given 5 to 20 years in prison for the death of Garrett Merriweather. Brewer hit Merriweather's car near Sahara and Fort Apache in May earlier this year. He pleaded guilty to DUI involving death and felony reckless driving. Merriweather's family has also started an anti-drunk driving foundation in his name. The Clark County Coroner's Office has identified a motorcycle rider killed in a crash Friday night. This happened on Duneville near Jones and Flamingo around 7:30 Friday evening. 28-year-old Jonathan Smith died on his motorcycle. Police say his motorcycle crashed into the right side of a car. Both of those vehicles flipped over. A 42-year-old man and a 12-year-old girl were also killed in the crash. They have not been identified yet. It is a Monday afternoon. It is time to check the weather forecast. A little bit of a change in the air. Nate Tannenbaum has a look outside. Hey, Nate.
Once again, you have crystallized my thoughts completely, Mr. Langler. We have an abundantly sunny sky with some lenticular clouds and some growing wind. From the 8 News Now Weather Center, Kira, take a little walk with me. Here's a great shot looking at the blue sky, the horizon, and these are those lenticular clouds. Basically, the wind is coming off the higher elevations and almost making those things look like cotton candy. The official temperature out at McCarran is 93. We're seeing winds already gusting over 21 miles an hour, and there's a lot more where that came from, thanks to fire weather warnings for Clark County, Lincoln, Nye, parts of southwestern Utah, and wind advisories for southern Nye, for Esmeralda, Mineral, and also for parts of Mono and Inyo County. And this is a high wind warning along the east slopes of the central Sierra. So here's one wave of clouds. There is some rain. That's way up over northern California. We do have a dust advisory from the Clark County Department of Air Quality, expecting dust in the moderate category. Your weather headlines go like this. Yes, temps are going to be dropping. Lows maybe in the low 60s, and we'll tell you the official arrival of fall in the 7-day forecast, John.
All right, Nate, thank you. It was a big sports weekend here in Las Vegas, all capped off by the dramatic playoff win by the Las Vegas Aces. They pulled off this dramatic last-second victory at the Thomas & Mack. Look at that pass intercepted with Chicago up by 2 with 10 seconds left. Nothing but net. The Aces' Derek Hamby stole the ball, fired in a 35-footer, giving Las Vegas a 1-point lead and the win. The Aces now move on to the WNBA Final Four. Let's just watch that again. They play the Washington Mystics in a best-of-5 series starting tomorrow night in the nation's capital. The Golden Knights won their first preseason game. That was yesterday in front of a packed crowd at T-Mobile Arena. 6-2 the final score over the Arizona Coyotes. Max Pacioretty had a hat trick. Vegas' next game is in Colorado against the Avalanche, and they play tomorrow. Today we will get an update on construction at Allegiant Stadium. The Stadium Authority Board meets to discuss the budget, a community benefits plan, and the lease agreement. And we should get an update on progress at the site. Right now, construction is scheduled to finish in 9 months. It was also NASCAR weekend at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but the hometown race wasn't too much fun for hometown star Kyle Busch. He hit the wall on lap 12 of the South Point 400. His brother Kurt also had a miserable day. He crashed out early in the race. Martin Truex Jr. won stage 2, then took the checkered flag. Kyle Busch did finish the race. He finished 19th, and the Durango High School graduate was his usual polite self afterwards.
What happened there with the 53 there late?
52, get it right. Don't know.
How did that impact your car?
Killed it.
Any other race?
I'm just here so I don't get fined. Felt great. Nope, can't pass there. Don't care. Just here so I don't get fined.
Do you feel like if you had been able to get the top 10? I'm answering the questions over and over again. Am I good?
He was asking to leave the interview, but if you would like to watch what interview there was done with Ron Futrell there, go to 8newsnow.com. Meanwhile, next year's September race is being pushed back 2 weeks. That should give fans, drivers, and even Kyle Busch a break from the heat. The soon-to-be former Hooters Hotel Casino gets a new look today. The signature Hooters Owls are being removed. It's all part of the rebranding sparked by new owners, Oyo Hotel Company from India. Oyo bought Hooters for $135 million. The company is one of the fastest growing hotel groups in the world. It now has more than 12,000 properties and now in Las Vegas as well. Musical band The Cars frontman Rick Ocasek has passed away. Coming up, we're going to take a look back at the career of the Rock and Roll Hall of Famer. You're watching the Valley's News Leader. Stick around.
Enough said. Call Ed. You're watching the Valley's news leader with John Langler, Alex Backus, Sherry Swensk, and Nate Tannenbaum. You're watching 8 News Now at noon.
Music fans mourning the death today of Rick Ocasek. The co-founder of the Cars was found dead in his Manhattan apartment Sunday afternoon. There are no signs of foul play. Laura Podesta looks back at his career.
The Cars knew how to let the good times roll with their mix of rock, new wave, and pop. Rick Ocasek, known for his long, lanky frame and deep voice, was the group's lead singer, guitarist, and primary songwriter. The group made their mark with a string of hits starting in the late 70s. They reached their peak popularity in the 80s thanks to MTV-friendly videos, including You Might Think. It was on the video for the ballad Drive that Ocasek met his third wife, model Paulina Poroskova. The couple were married for 28 years. Poroskova announced their separation last year, shortly after the band was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I'd like to thank my loving family because they know me pretty well, but they still like me anyway.
After the Cars broke up in 1988, Ocasek went on to produce hit albums for younger bands, including Weezer, ensuring his musical legacy will continue for generations to come. Laura Podesta, CBS News, New York.
Ocasek is survived by his 6 sons, 2 from each of his 3 marriages. Coming up next on 8 News Now, making buildings cooler, how cities are using reflective paint to help stop global warming. And we have some cooler days ahead. Nate Tannenbaum has white paint on as well. He'll tell you all about that still ahead on 8 News Now.
Harris Law Firm, just in case.
You're watching 8 News Now at noon.
This is very interesting here. Buildings in New York City getting cooler thanks to a relatively simple solution, white paint. A special white reflective paint actually helps the roof absorb less heat because it's white, and that reduces energy costs and the carbon footprint. City officials there say it keeps buildings 30% cooler than regular roofs. So far, they've covered 10 million square feet of roofs. Other cities are passing similar cool roof laws. San Francisco passed a measure requiring new buildings to have solar panels and plants. And in Los Angeles, roofing materials have to meet new sun-reflecting standards. Seems like such a simple solution.
Common sense.
Yeah.
Hello.
Let's not have that black, tar or whatever it is.
Paint it.
Paint it white and keep it good. It's the opposite of what the Rolling Stones sang. Don't paint it black. Paint it white.
What he said.
Yes.
All right, we got the flag blowing in the wind out here, John. So the gusty wind's going to continue through this afternoon. There's no official wind advisory, but this camera on top of the Bank of America building at Rainbow on the 95 showing it is a very strong south wind. Officially, the temperature and conditions at McCarran were at 93. South wind steadily at 10, gusting over 20 miles an hour. And again, the red flag or fire weather warnings. We also have wind advisories for Nye, Esmeralda, Mineral, and Lyon, as well as San Bernardino, Inyo and Mono counties, as well as this high wind warning for the east slopes of the central Sierra. So we're going to go for a high of 96 today, which will put us above normal. Low this morning, 9 degrees above normal at 80. All of these numbers are going to tumble once the wind dies down and continues to blow on through. For now, we have wave after wave of clouds. In fact, the winds are going to be up to 40 miles an hour here in town and maybe up to 50 miles an hour in the higher elevations. And again, officially no wind advisories, just that red flag warning. All right, so here's what's going on. Yeah, that is a hurricane off the southeast coast of the United States. That's Hurricane Umberto, a Category 1 hurricane with sustained winds of 85 miles an hour, but it is well offshore, even though there's some rain bands and maybe some stronger winds. Umberto is going to be staying way out into the Atlantic over the next couple of days. So let's get you back to your 7-day forecast. Windy and 96 today. We mentioned cooler temperatures, 90 under the sunshine, maybe continued breezy tomorrow, 94 for Wednesday, and then, yeah, how about high temperatures only in the 80s, and this low Thursday night into Friday morning, 62. Some neighborhoods may start in the upper 50s, so that's going to be a chilly one starting Friday morning. And we have the official arrival of fall. That is going to be at 10 minutes until 1 a.m. on Sunday morning. So John Langler, I know you're going to be staying up late Saturday night after midnight, so you can officially welcome fall with that autumnal equinox at 12:50 Sunday morning.
No, absolutely. I'm going to have my pumpkin spiced coffee, my pumpkin spiced spam, my pumpkin spiced pumpkin, just for the beginning of fall.
Thank you.
Preparation is key.
It is.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
Speeding up the healing process. Coming up, we have more details on a new treatment. Ahead on 8 News Now, you're watching the Valley's News Leader.
Writer, producer, did I forget anything?
No, I think you got it all.
The Talks Live with 50 Cent
on CBS.
1-800-FAST-FIT.
You're watching 8 News Now at noon.
Boutique fitness brand Peloton's being sued for $300 million over song rights. They allegedly stole more than 2,000 songs for their virtual fitness classes. The lawsuit was filed by the National Music Publishers Association. Peloton previously responded, saying it has a music licensing system to support its partnerships. Sealing and healing wounds in a revolutionary way. Researchers have created a bandage-like device that helps patients with acute and chronic wounds. Marty Salt has those details.
We have electric cars, razors, and now an electric bandage. Researchers at the University of Wisconsin have developed an electrode-dressed bandage to help the body heal itself. Electrical currents are created when the body moves.
We use that body-generated electricity to help the wound recovery.
So you just apply some pressure to the device, it can generate electricity.
Those pulses of electricity stimulate cell regeneration and speed up the healing process at the wounded area. When the device was tested on rats, Professor Wong was shocked with the results.
Usually this wound will recover in 2 weeks, and our device helped the wound to recover in 3 days with a minimal formation of scars.
The idea to use electricity to heal wounds is not exactly new. There are large devices that treat patients with chronic wounds, but patients can only get them at the hospital. Wong believes his technology can have big implications.
So we can make the treatment become a daily normal treatment, just like using bandage from the grocery store. So people can handle it all by themselves.
Creating bonds that heal. Marty Salt, 8 News Now.
The next step with this is to test the device on larger animals and then eventually human skin. Right now, the device can only treat acute fresh wounds, but Wong wants to treat those hard to work on wounds as well. Never miss a promotional opportunity. That's what they say. We'll tell you how Budweiser's getting in on the hype surrounding the Storm Area 51 events later this week. You're watching 8 News Now.
associates. Enough said. Call Ed. You're watching 8 News Now at noon.
Coming up today on Las Vegas Now, Christina Aguilera is back on the Las Vegas Strip this weekend, but you'll have even more chances to see her. We're going to tell you about new dates that have been added to her residency. And a CBS exclusive with the Backstreet Boys on their new album and their upcoming world tour. That and more today on Las Vegas Now at 3. Bud Light is rolling out an Area 51 themed marketing plan for this weekend. Shocker. Anheuser-Busch says they're offering free beer to any aliens that escape Area 51. Now, this is of course in response to the festivals being planned up in Lincoln County this weekend after the Storm Area 51 Facebook page went viral. There's even a limited edition alien pack with shirts, koozies, hats, and jackets. The cans right now are only on sale in Nevada, California, and Arizona. The Alien Research Center up in Hico says they have stocked up.
Well, that's good. That's a good
thing.
So
at least there is some preparation.